That's why I say it's not enough to abolish ICE. That's why I say we must punish ICE. Okay? We must put them in prison. That is my demand. I think abolishing ICE is the moderate position. Okay? Punishing ICE is the rational position to the full extent of the law. And I said this yesterday. I said, since they claim driving a car away from an ICE agent was a justified reason for killing Renee Good, I suspect the right will now defend this state-sanctioned execution. Now let's get back to the actual news. And I'll cover Asmongold's pivot is going to happen. And it is happening. Speaking of Somali, wasn't Jolani, leader of CARE Minneapolis, really cool in person? Didn't even know he had a lowrider? Yeah, he's the fucking goat, dude. He is cool as a cucumber, for sure. I lost it when he was telling me about... He's not pivoting. That clip is just Yoxic levels of clip farming. Yeah, he's not fully pivoting. He's like leaning into it, though. It's coming. Don't worry. Yeah, I lost it when he was talking about how he goes up in a deer stand and hunts deer. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Anyway.
Traders out here very late into the night.
Federal officers shooting man in Minneapolis.
Presence, and also there is a growing memorial here at the scene where this happened. And yes, once again, there are contradictions between what federal officials and eyewitnesses to this are saying. We want to be clear, we're not fully certain yet what happened in the minutes leading up to this, but the itself is on video. It is graphic, but you can see for yourself what happened.
Overnight unrest and anger in Minneapolis after federal agents shot and killed another person.
Graphic video from the scene obtained by DropSite News shows a man in a struggle with agents resisting being shoved to the ground and hit. It appears his gun was removed by one of the agents. According to a witness affidavit, at least 4 agents pointed guns at him. The same witness saying the man shot had at least 3 bullet wounds in his back.
I just saw a video of more than 6 masked agents pummeling one of our constituents and him to death. How many more residents?
Minneapolis police have now identified that man as 37-year-old Alex Preddy, an American citizen and Minneapolis native who worked as an ICU nurse for the Department of Veterans Affairs. Preddy seen here reading the final salute for a fallen veteran.
Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it.
Local authorities say Preddy was a lawful gun owner with a license to carry and no criminal record. Minnesota has an open carry gun law which requires a permit. Video shows Preddy intervened trying to help a woman the agents had surrounded. He appears to be holding a phone as he is pepper sprayed and wrestled to the ground, which he resists. The video does not appear to show him drawing the gun at
Alex Preddy was a hero, and a hero, okay? Anyone that looks at this situation and thinks of it as anything but a state-sanctioned, unauthorized murder that took place because a bunch of psychopathic Mannlich Gestapo agents decided to harm a woman and then assassinate the dude stepping in between the woman and the ICE agents for the crime of hurting their feelings is a delusional loser. Okay? There is no complier here. Like, there is no complier. This is just, if you are not in the if you are in the vicinity of an ICE agent, you could just, and everyone's going to call you. That's it. That's what you're defending. When you defend this, that's what you're defending. I hope you understand. Don't let anybody get away with saying shit like that.
Any point. Now, Governor Tim Walz says the state will not be stonewalled by the Trump administration as they investigate.
You said Alex Preddy is the best of us, and I really think that's a good way to put it. He is. He is. Alex Preddy was the best of us, and we are allowing the worst of us to execute the best of us. And then we're allowing this administration to claim that the best of us are actually, it is completely and utterly unacceptable. It is undeniably cruel. It is completely ridiculous. It's completely unacceptable. Okay? He was doing the right thing. He was protecting his neighbors, and he was doing everything right, too, on top of that. Like, he didn't do anything wrong in that situation.
Thank God we have video, because according to DHS, these 7 heroic guys took an onslaught of a battalion against them or something. It's nonsense, people. It is.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think Tim Walz's commentary on this is enough. I don't think his actions are enough. This is precisely what I was talking about with Mint Press News last night. I want to believe that the Democrats have the American population's best interest in mind. I want to believe that. I want to believe that because we have no other alternatives. We have no other options. Okay? The Democrats are leaving their own constituents behind. They're leaving us behind. They are so timid. They're so worried about escalation from the side of the protesters. And their actions are unironically accelerating the reality of that happening. Or rather, their inaction is what is going to inevitably cause that escalation to happen. Because there's only so much pain that people can endure before they decide we have to take matters into our own hands. We do not have anyone on our side. We do not have the government on our side. We have to take matters into our own hands. The Republicans are waging war on America right now. They're waging war on specifically blue cities in general, but like they're waging war on the entire United States. They're waging war on the American Constitution. Have a backbone. Do you not have any sense of duty, any sense of honor, any sense of purpose? Like, have a backbone. It's obvious that saying, no, Mr. President, this is not what you're supposed to be doing, don't you know, is not working, man. It's not working.
Nonsense, and it's lies.
According to an affidavit, a doctor witnessed it from a nearby apartment and says that at first agents would not let him through to help before one agent eventually agreed to let him assess the victim. According to the affidavit, the doctor says he was confused as to why Preddy was lying on his side, which is not standard practice when a victim has been shot. The doctor added ICE agents appeared to be counting Preddy's bullet wounds. Border Patrol officials say that happened while conducting a targeted operation for a person in the country illegally. They claim Preddy approached Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic.
Yeah, no, he didn't. We know he didn't because it's all on video. We know he did not brandish his weapon. They lied about that. For those of you who don't know, okay, here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the difference, okay? Because brandishing a weapon is illegal, okay? This is a weapon, okay? This is a weapon. Let's say I'm a concealed carry permit holder, as Alex Preddy was. If I have a holster on my side and I have the weapon in the holster as a licensed concealed carry permit holder, okay, I am totally legally walking around with this weapon. I can even show it if I want to. I can have the holster stick out. In some states, you can only have a holster and you can only show it, right? Like, and in other states, you can actually have it as a concealed carry permit, right? That is totally legal. He was well within his rights to have his personal handgun in a concealed manner, okay? Because he was a licensed, he was a licensed carrier. This is brandishing the weapon. When you take it out of its holster and you walk around with your weapon out in your hands, or even like, pointed at people, that's brandishing a weapon. Alex Preddy did not brandish his weapon at all. As a matter of fact, he didn't even take his gun out. His gun was taken out of its holster by one of the 7 ICE agents that stormed him, that were brutalizing him. Okay? Just so you understand the difference. And I know for a fact that Kirsty Noem, no matter how stupid she is, knows the legal difference. This is a very important legal difference. This is a very important legal designation. They are falsely claiming that he was brandishing his weapon with intent to like murder ICE agents or something. It's bullshit. They're just lying. They know they're lying and they're lying regardless. And there are still people who are eating this up. It's important to know your Second Amendment rights, especially since the government seemingly is going to use the lack of knowledge that people have, even gun tubers themselves, as a way to justify killing concealed carry permit holders, which is crazy. And I talked about this yesterday. I tweeted about this yesterday, but a very sizable chunk of the American population, approximately 30 to 40% of the American population, owns guns. And an even larger percentage of the population, around 50%, is the estimate, has at least one single gun in the household. Okay? The 30% population is like around 80 million Americans have a firearm, give or take, that we know of. That's a lot of people. Okay? That's a lot of people. So now you can just kill people in direct violation of the Second Amendment? Like, people can't exercise their Second Amendment now? That's another constitutional restraint destroyed by the federal government once again. As a matter of fact, they're using the likelihood that someone might have a weapon as a way to justify assassinating people. This is completely unacceptable. Okay? If you justify this, you're saying the American government can kill 80 million people and they can get away with it. And you'll say it's all right. It's appropriate. It's not all right. It's completely unacceptable. That's why I say it's not enough to abolish ICE. That's why I say we must punish ICE. Okay? We must put them in prison. That is my demand. I think abolishing ICE is the moderate position. Okay? Punishing ICE is the rational position to the full extent of the law. And I said this yesterday. I said, since they claim driving a car away from an ICE agent was a justified reason for killing Renee Good, I suspect the right will now defend this state-sanctioned execution. This is before they started, before they came out with it, right? This was right after. And I said, my assumption is they're going to say he was, he was a righteous target, justifiably executed by the state because he was a, Second Amendment legal carrier. And I was right. They did do that, right? I suspect the right will not defend the state-sanctioned execution on the post hoc justification that the victim was a gun owner in a country where approximately 80 million people have a firearm. And yet he was disarmed before he was assassinated. He never pulled his gun out, and he was disarmed before he was shot. And this one makes it impossible to avoid. This is the highest resolution footage that we have so far, and it's slowed down, where you can see one of the ICE agents directly go into his pockets and directly pull out the gun and then walk away. And as he's walking away, the other ICE agent puts a bullet in the back of his head. And then another, as he's falling down, unloads 5 bullets. And then when his lifeless body is on the ground, they continue backing up and they continue mag dumping as he is lying on the ground. Alex Peretti was never a threat. He was never a threat at all. Okay? There was no point where he was ever a threat. They had no basis to even tear gas him. They had no basis to push the other lady into the sidewalk. They did it because they know they could. ICE did this because the Department of Homeland Security is there to protect them. As we said, when Renee Good was assassinated, and there were whistleblowers even inside of the Department of Homeland Security that looked to what was going on and said, hey, our guys here are getting real rowdy. They learned the lesson that the administration was teaching them, which is you do whatever you want and we will protect you. Why did he have a gun? Why would you bring a gun to a protest? I don't think you're an American, right? Ape IRL. Are you an American citizen? Because he didn't have a gun at a protest. You're a Minnesotan? You're an American Minnesotan and you're asking why a fellow Minnesotan has a gun on them? Because it's their constitutional right. He has the right. Change the law before you move goalposts. What is this? He had critical life-saving skills and belonged out there in this community. Unlike these pills, he was an pigs. He was an asset. I agree. Like it's kind of like saying, oh well, he was in a car, and we shot and killed him. Like why was he driving a car around ICE agents? I mean that is what they said last time around. Not all Minnesotans agree with the protests. Yeah, there's definitely some cucked Minnesotans out there. I mean, there are some pigs, right? Like you might be one of those pigs or your family might be one of those like ape-brained pigs. I mean, certainly. I don't think anyone is a monolith. I think you could be getting dominated by this administration and still be the servile little rat that you are that says, please, sir, can I have some more? That's totally fine. But I think the overwhelming majority of Minnesotans don't agree with you. And I saw that with my own 2 eyes. So it doesn't really matter what your perspective is here because you are in the, super minority. Now, of course, the way that this works is regardless. Name calling is just delegitimizing an argument. Yeah, but I'm not just delegitimizing your argument. I'm actually undermining your argument by destroying it, by saying that you are in the super, super tiny sliver, marginal oppositional voices here. As far as the counter protesters against ICE or as far as the protests against ICE, then why attack me and not the argument? But because you're stupid and you should know that you're stupid. Because I think people like yourselves, reactionaries, right-wingers in general, they get hopped up on their own fumes and they just assume that they're right all the time. And I think no one ever like smacks them around a little bit. That's why. And also because I don't care about your feelings because the facts matter here. The facts don't care about your feelings. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm actually slapping you around a little bit because you deserve it. And you should know that. You should know that you are a servile little worm. Okay, you just said it. You wouldn't listen to anything. No, your argument is actually stupid. You asked me a question, I gave you the answer, and then you turned around and said, not all Minnesotans agree with the protest, which is irrelevant. The initial argument wasn't even an argument. It was just a question. Why did he have a gun? I told you he has a license to carry a gun around. He has every right to carry that gun wherever he goes. It's in the fucking Constitution. And then you pivoted off to, well, not all Minnesotans agree with the protest. And I tried to explain to you that it doesn't matter what the fucking tiny sliver of Minnesotans actually think on this issue if they're on board with it, because the overwhelming majority of Minnesotans don't agree with it. And they are, letting their discontent be known. As a matter of fact, I saw it personally with my own two eyes when I attended the general strike that took place on Friday. Okay? Once again, you can bring a gun to a protest. It is still your constitutionally protected right. And not only that, but this wasn't a protest. He wasn't at a protest. He was out probably getting coffee. He was out living his life. And then he saw ICE agents harass people. And then he did the right thing, interested in protecting his community. But you can, but it adds complexity to an already volatile situation. Yeah, but the volatile situation is volatile because of the presence of ICE agents, not because of the presence of a fucking Minnesotan that is like in his own community, in his own neighborhood, walking around with a gun. Okay? You are an ape IRL, I think. Actually, that's not true. I think an ape would probably have more functioning brain cells than you. Let's be real. They can at least use tools and stuff like that. I don't think you're actually capable of that, if we're being super sincere. Because you are still trying to actively defend this sort of thing. An ape actually knows how to protect itself. An ape knows how to protect its own community. You don't. You clearly don't. You are demanding that the administration come and fuck you. So you don't even have the self-preservation skills of an ape, interestingly enough. In any case, let's continue. Kyle Rittenhouse was considered a hero for having a gun in an actual protest and using it as a vigilante. Where was this argument then? You're talking to that guy, right? Because I have even started to change my opinion on this stuff. This is something that I've evolved on. I've been a very strong advocate for gun control, and I think the time for that is passing. I have time and time again consistently held the position that I don't think it's a good thing to bring a gun to a protest. And I think it's a different, that was the old me, okay? I think that was a different time. Once the social contract has been broken so fundamentally over and over again, I think you have to defend yourself. It's crazy. It's crazy. Him having a gun in this circumstance has nothing to do with the situation at all. It's just what the DHS is trying to use as a way to defend their unjustifiable actions. I hope you understand that. Because he never pulled it out. He never did anything with the gun. He had a phone in his hands. Do people actually believe what this clown says? Well, people do have eyes and ears and functioning brain cells. You might not, which is why you are in here to cope, feeling abandoned by some of your favorite content creators, probably, feeling like the walls are closing in, feeling like for the first time ever, your hug box is not so vast. So you have to come in here and go, oh, this guy's a real clown. Check last comment. You're not the only one changing their opinion on this. And it's not just you, my liberal 50-year-old mother who's a doctor who has always been against guns is now thinking about buying one. Yeah. Defend yourself against who? I would say that's a very dangerous thing to say because you are referencing federal agents. Out getting coffee, he told his parents he was going to a protest. Chatter, I don't think you understand. He's a Minnesotan. He can be wherever the fuck he wants as a Minnesotan. Okay? If he wants to film ICE agents trying to kidnap people, he has every fucking right to do so. This is not a contested subject. This is unironically defended by the courts. Last week, there was an injunction from a state court in Minnesota that said ICE had no legal basis to apprehend and detain people who were following them around and honking their horns. Did you know that? No, you don't. You don't know anything. Just like you don't know the fucking rules, just like you don't know the laws. And in that fear that you have existing in the world, you just think every position of authority is always right unconditionally. And this is how we arrive at how so many people were on board with whatever the fuck the Nazis were doing. Okay? Your ignorance is not everybody else's problem. Okay? You need to do a little bit more research. You need to do a little bit more soul searching. And you need to think. I know it's difficult, but you need to think a little bit. Is this appropriate? What level of cruelty will I abide by as long as the government is doing it. Nobody asked about this when MAGA has guns, by the way. No, I know. It's actually the very same people that love when the Boogaloo Boys come out, that love when people do an armed protest. Okay? What a lot of people don't understand, when they slap the term protester on a person, that doesn't take away what that person is doing. He's still a Minnesotan. Okay? He's still invested in protecting his neighbors. As a matter of fact, he's one of the best Minnesotans. Okay? Just like Renee Good was one of the best that Minnesota has to offer. These are some of the best people that, in spite of the federal government saying, if we kill you unjustifiably, we will protect the person that killed you unjustifiably and we'll call you a fucking terrorist. These are people that are still going out and doing the right thing. And I cannot comprehend how there are still so many Americans that sit there and say, just turn a blind eye. Just look the other way. If a fucking 5'4" manlet comes over and like brutalizes ruthlessly a person that's filming them, shoves them into shoves them into the concrete, you just sit there and you take it. You don't do anything. You just run away. Why won't you run away? I get it. I get it now. I get why so many people have a personal distaste towards the Palestinian resistance, for example. Because these guys do have a universal mindset towards being a serf, being a peasant, being a fucking slave. Straight up. They cannot comprehend why anyone would want to defend their neighbors. They don't have any sense of community. They have no sense of purpose. They have no investment in protesting at all. And that's it. They are bootlicking servile cattle. And that's what this is. It makes a lot more sense. You're advocating for bringing a gun to a protest to defend yourself against whom? What do you mean? There's plenty of fucking people that are also bringing a gun to a protest to kill you. Also, take it up with the fucking Constitution. In places where it's legal, you can do that. Okay? Chatter is baiting you for content. No, I know. He's trying to get me to say something that he can clip so that he can post all over the internet and be like, he wants ICE agents to be shot dead by guns, like or turn around and say stuff like, oh, he wants.
Hey, I don't fucking support ICE, okay? Fuck ICE. People getting fucking murdered, I don't support.
Woke is back. All right, good.
It. That's fucking obvious. If you read my tweet and think I like ICE, you're fucking, I don't want to be more politically incorrect. You're fucking not smart, bro, okay? I don't like ICE. If you run around liking ICE, there's something wrong with you. Okay? Let me just clear that up. First off, bro. Okay? Because what I said was completely taken completely out of context to a different fucking stratosphere, bro. Okay? Fuck ICE. I have personal friends and family that are affected by ICE and what they've done. Okay? And I don't support ICE. So let me just say this a fifth time for the bootlicker, for the people yelling bootlicker. First of all, yelling bootlicker to a person could be the worst insult ever. That's that's just like it's gay. Like you're like, oh, you lick a man's boot. Like that is so fucking weird. Okay? I've been called 100 insults. It's probably the worst insult I've ever heard. Okay? I'd never lick a boot. All right? I'm just being real, bro, because we see what can happen. We've seen ICE murder people, okay?
What's the solution then, buddy? That's the problem. You should be commending the bravery of people that are literally putting their lives on the line when they shouldn't have to, okay? When that shouldn't even be a point of fucking contention. The reason why people are calling you out is because you're saying, I'm not just a bootlicker, I'm spreading my fucking ass cheeks when the boot is coming. After I'm done throating it, I'll shove it directly in my ass. He's saying, fuck ICE, bro. But just like say fuck ICE from your gated community, you know? That's it. Just like stick to Twitter fingers. You know what I mean? Don't actually do something. The reason why people are saying fuck ICE is not just because ICE is out there brutalizing American citizens. The reason why people are saying fuck ICE is because ICE is an insane expansion of the already existing surveillance state that is going around door to door violating people's constitutional rights to kidnap people's neighbors, okay? That's the reason why people are saying fuck ICE. ICE going around and assassinating American citizens is the last iteration of their violence and their unlawful misconduct. So it almost feels like when he says like, fuck ICE, bro, I hate ICE, but like don't fuck with ICE. Basically saying, yeah, fuck ICE. And by that, I mean, have sex with ICE agents, actually, you know, give them a good tongue bath, right? They deserve it after a long day of kidnapping children and shit. You know what I mean? They deserve it. Get on your knees and fuck ICE and suck ICE. You know what I mean? Let ICE fuck you and also give them a good suck job too. Because there are brave boys in the blue. They're law enforcement officers. Incredible stuff.
I'm not defending ICE. They fucking murdered people, bro. It's a murder. They murdered. So when I was saying what I was saying about like, bro, just mind your business. Don't fucking go. Like, dude, if you want to protest on the side, if you want to film it, dude, fine. What I said, bro.
Okay, but ICE is literally shooting and killing people that are doing just that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what's up? What's up, dude? Because guess what's going to happen? Unrestrained and angry, these guys are going to end up fucking shooting a baby in a crib one day. I mean, God forbid. I hope it doesn't happen, okay? But that's what we're trying to avoid here. And then what? They just fucking start blasting in a goddamn neighborhood, and then they end up killing random people in their homes. And then what? They've already done that. They fucking flashbanged a baby, like a 6-month-old, almost died, had to get CPR because the dad was trying to escape the fucking neighborhood that they were sieging. They're out here tear gassing babies, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Just stand in the corner and film. What is that guy supposed to do? He wasn't even trying to stand in the corner and film. He was just trying to get his child out of the way. This is why I say this is identical to the fucking pro-Israel arguments. United States of Israel, which offended a lot of people, by the way, when I said that. The baby was Hamas. It was a Hamas baby. We had to tear gas the Hamas baby. Like, the arguments are the same. The violence is similar. The mass apprehension and detention and a constant presence of the danger is so similar to the West Bank operations that Israel is conducting with regular frequency. It's an occupation.
I fucking just regret the way I said this because it literally turned into people being like, oh, so what? You support ICE? Buddy, you read every tweet. That's why I didn't delete it. That's why I didn't delete the shit yet. Because I'm like, you read through every tweet and you tell me where the fuck I said I like ICE. I agree with them.
Yeah, but this doesn't make sense either because he did delete the tweet now. But it's so funny because he's basically saying, buddy, I don't like ICE. I'm just telling you, you shouldn't actually, even if you don't like ICE, you should never let them know you don't like ICE. Because obviously, if you let them know, they'll kill you and then it's fine, okay? It's kind of your fault. Nice people made the best Nazis. They got along, refused to make waves, looked the other way when things got ugly. They were lovely people who turned their heads as their neighbors were dragged away. Exactly. I don't think these guys fucking recognize what's happening. They just keep saying, like, shove your head in the sand. Look the other way. Be quiet. God forbid you let your distaste be known. God forbid you protect your neighbors. Don't do it because they'll just fucking kill you.
I support anything because
He just said, I don't think any party likes Hasan. He deleted it. I know. Of course. I'll take it. I'll take the fucking dirty delete.
Don't.
Okay? I'll take the dirty delete. He'll try to get back to like a reasonable setting by being like, oh, nobody likes Hasan though. Remember, everybody hates Hasan. That's not the case, brother. Especially in the fucking real world. That is certainly not the case. And we saw that. We saw that yesterday. That is a internet phenomena. That is not a phenomena in the real world. That is a phenomena on the internet though. And unfortunately, a lot of people that fucking spend all of their time on the internet never go outside. So they create this like false reality. But it's just a very funny thing for these guys where it's a very funny thing that these guys do where they're like, no, but like, don't worry. I still hate Hasan, you know, fuck Hasan. I don't think this guy even knows why he doesn't like me. Like there is zero valid reason. It's just shit that he saw on the internet, clips that he saw that like was very easily was clips that he saw that manipulated him, okay? Because if you ask the average person on the internet, like, why do you hate this guy? They go, oh, it's Hamas Diddy Piker. He did 9/11. He's Jeffrey Epstein himself, and who did 9/11, and he loves killing his dog, and then he gets a new dog every day, and he fucking kills his dog, and then there's a new dog every day, and he also forces her to sleep in the same spot. It's just like, no, you're just meta chasing. You're an easily tricked adult that's fucking meta chasing. This stuff is going to change as well. Don't you worry, okay? Caught him in 4K money. Yeah, lots of people in the comments mad at laws because they agree with you. It's so transparent what they're doing. Yeah. I mean, think about it this way, man. Think about it this way, okay? Relevant timestamp to your point. Yeah. Think about it this way. These motherfuckers are defending ICE agents killing human beings, okay? An ICE agent killed a human being. They kill dogs all the fucking time. They don't give a shit about that. They're just using this as a fucking talking point because they think it's like a salient talking point. That's it. This is led by Kristi Noem, who's the fucking dog annihilator. That's it. There's no fucking consistency here. Kristi Noem literally assassinated her dog and then wrote about it in a fucking book. My question always is the same. He said he doesn't like you because you abused your old dog. Yeah, okay. My question always is the same for these guys, okay? If you think I'm such a fucking bad person, why do you always feel the need to lie about shit that I haven't done? Because, yeah, you'd be right. If all of the things that you say about me were correct, yeah, I would be a fucking bad person, you know? He's not going to like you. I don't care. I don't want him to like me. I don't give a shit. I'm happy that he fucking deleted his tweet. At the end of the day, most of these people that spend a good deal of time being like, fuck Hasan, fuck Hasan, fuck Hasan, I hate Hasan, all this shit, they inevitably reveal that they're not very educated and they're oftentimes somewhat right-wing, okay? If you are the peakest of peak liberals, and in this moment you're spending any fucking time being like, yo, fuck Hasan, instead of saying fuck ICE, you're not a very serious person. If you're such a bad guy, you should have so much real shit to base your hatred off of, and it's like all three lies on repeat. Yeah, they just like spam it over and over again until they hope that like it sticks. That's it. Stop thinking in terms of content creators and start thinking in terms of actual policies. Like, who's responsible for the real violence here, okay? This kind of stuff is just a distraction. It's idiotic. Let's get back to the fucking news. So this is the highest resolution footage so far that's slowed down. And you can see this guy in the gray jacket, the ICE agent in the gray jacket, going for his weapon, taking it out of its holster, and then walking away. Meanwhile, the other ICE agent that's behind Alex Peretti takes out his service weapon, and I believe he might be the first one that shoots the first shot. I've seen a close-up of the agent who disarmed him actually shoot the gun while running away. It's not excessively clear, but he's definitely something that changes the gun while he's running. Something to look into, since after the first shot, it doesn't look like Alex moved at all the way he did when we heard the second shot. I mean, the autopsy report, hopefully, if we actually, I mean, the autopsy report will show that. The Washington Post link I showed shows it even more clearly. This is the Washington Post link. This is Evan, friend of the show, Evan Hill, at Open Source and Visual Forensics Investigations at Washington Post. Defending this really does mean it's over. If one more Minnesotan dies and there isn't a civil war, we're doomed. I'm a believer. I'm a firm believer that if there isn't pushback towards this kind of stuff, like, they're just going to keep getting away with it over and over again, and they're just going to only increase the intensity, increase the frequency of the violence. That's it. And that's already happening. Let's continue with this.
A handgun seen here, along with 2 magazines, and say he violently resisted their attempts to disarm him.
We will not allow violence against our law enforcement officers.
Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem insists the agent fired defensive shots.
This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
So far, they've provided no evidence supporting those claims.
There's been demonstrators out here since this shooting first happened, sometimes thousands at a time. The fires are to stay warm in the sub-zero temperatures. And we know there's been protests happening every day in Minneapolis since Renee Good was shot 2.5 weeks ago.
The Minneapolis community coming together in a candlelight vigil overnight. Neighbors, friends, and family gathered outside Peretti's home. His neighbor speaking to ABC News, remembering the 37-year-old.
He was very well thought of. It's difficult to square that impression that everybody on this block had, and with this notion that he was somehow some sort of suicide mission to inflict damage on ICE.
And his father telling the Associated Press.
Like, this is such a fucking clear-cut, this is such a clear-cut, open and shut case, man. Like, I just don't even, like, how do you look at this? How do you look at this situation and just go, well, the government told me that he was a bad guy who was trying to do bad things, so I think the government is right. Like, if you're adamant to defend this, you will literally defend the government killing your parents. Like, you would be like, yep, sorry, my mom was a woke libtard, and that's why this fucking ICE agent from Texas totally was well within his rights to assassinate her in front of our house in her own driveway. Sorry, she shouldn't have been a woke libtard, I guess. It's crazy how fucking stupid you have to be. Like feral animals have better self-preservation skills than the average Republican, man. What are we doing?
His beloved son cared about people deeply and was very upset with what was happening in Minneapolis, adding he had discussed the protest with his son recently.
We had this discussion with him 2 weeks ago or so, that go ahead and protest, but do not engage. And he said he knows that. He knew that.
And as Governor Walz is vowing to press forward with this investigation, we know a judge has given a temporary order barring the Trump administration from destroying any evidence linked to this shooting here. Janae?
All right, Trevor, thank you so much for your reporting.
Minneapolis.
If a police officer pulls me over, I don't like the charges, and I don't like the charges I get on my day in court. If I get out of my car, stick my phone in his face and cuss him out, I'll get additional charges and probably arrested. Okay, fine. Fine, but that's not what happened. If I get out of my car and get in a fist fight with him, I deserve to get my ass beat. That's not what happened either. If I choose to get in a fist fight with him and have a gun on me, I deserve to get shot if they feel threatened making split-second decisions. You are cattle. Okay? All of this can be avoided if I simply accept and respect the officer's authority to remain a law-abiding citizen. You guys understand, like, this argument is insane, right? It treats all members of law enforcement from ICE, which has a totally separate jurisdiction for the record than like regular local law enforcement has, but like this argument treats local law enforcement as like a force to be reckoned with, like they're gods, okay? They're like a natural disaster, and you need to, every time you interact with them, you have to just pray to God that they don't have a bad day and kill you. Like, Alex was a law-abiding citizen. The law that was violated here was when the ICE agent killed him. When the first ICE agent pushed another law-abiding citizen into the fucking concrete, into the sidewalk, and then proceeded to pepper spray Alex in the face as he put bravely his body between, in a non-violent manner, as he put his body between the ICE agent and the other person that they were brutalizing. He saved that other person's life. That's what he did. And every part of this is a lie. Every part of this is a lie. Crazy hypotheticals. These random hypotheticals are crazy, insane order, but how does it get enforced? It's just, these people are they're so servile, man. They are such cucks where any authority, anything that any authority does is justifiable across the board. Because it's authority that told you have to comply. It's authority that said, this is what it is. Damn, liberals are real fucking mad at me, huh, today. Look at this. Hasan the Hun still thinks Democrats are the same as Republicans in 2026. His opinion on all things politics should be ignored and he should be bullied forever. His own fucking dog hates him. Fuck this animal abusing piece of shit tanky fuck. What tanky, man? Where are the fucking tanks? Click the profiles of Destiny Simp. I just don't understand what this cult is doing. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you guys are worried about? Fighting your favorite content creators' battles for him? This kind of shit keeps popping up on my fucking timeline. I think true liberals are starting to sound way closer to views now. I know, that's why I think it's funny. These guys are not reading the fucking room. They don't understand. If they were to actually go out there and encounter their fucking neighbors and how angry they are, they would realize that the American population, the base of the Democratic Party, and even beyond the base of the Democratic Party, people are fucking fed up. They're fed up with the economy. They're fed up with the fact that this stupid fucking administration is constantly increasing the intensity, constantly squeezing them, constantly upping the ante, constantly upping the pressure in more militant ways, in more violent ways. They want the Democrats to put up a fucking fight. They are obviously experiencing not only discontent with the administration, they hate the admin, but they are also very clearly disturbed by the lack of motion coming from the Democratic Party. This is where the base is at. But these guys are still yelling to an increasingly shrinking audience of other fucking liberals who are like, vote blue no matter who, vote blue no matter who, over and over and over again. And it doesn't make sense. I'm like, who is this for? Talk to your mom and dad. I bet your mom and dad are mad at the Republicans for understandable reason, like I am. But then they're mad at the Democrats for not doing enough. You are out of touch. And I don't know how to explain it to you because you don't go outside. You're just fucking out of touch. They're trying to make sure that the angry base of the Democratic Party who nonetheless liked Harris are biased against the left, even if centrist Dems collaborate. But it's not going to work. There are too many prominent leftists in elective office. Hutch lost 250 followers covering the protest. They have no motion. That's what I'm saying. They keep doing it. Who the fuck is this for? Who could this be for? Why are you so endlessly invested in an outright refusal of reading the fucking room? The tweeter isn't even American, I think. Their TikTok says anti-populist, liberal, the liberal kind, Kiwi obsessed with American politics. Yeah, this 57-year-old wants to drive across the country to fight ICE. This is, yeah. I really shouldn't have to explain the concept of revolutionary adventurism to my dad, but here we are. I'm trying to talk a 57-year-old man out of driving himself 18 hours to Minneapolis to like get in a fist fight with ICE. That's where the median voters are, okay? That's where the fucking median voters are. That's it. These guys are so fucking out of step with where the population is. And it worries me that they are actively trying to calcify the consultancy class that is like parasitically surrounded the entire Democratic establishment, where they're just like not letting go. They're like, no. Please don't say abolish ICE. Please don't do that. God forbid you say that. God forbid you lean into where the fucking anger is. God forbid you lean into where the resentment is. Please just stay out of touch. Please don't say anything about Israel. If there's anything you say about Israel, just like only talk about anti-Semitism. Don't say anything about ICE. Or if you say, oh, well, we don't want to fund ICE in this current version, don't ever say abolish ICE. This is terrifying. This is terrifying. Please don't do it. Like, they are unironically cooking the fucking Democrats. It sometimes makes me feel like the consultant class that has this vice grip around our electeds are working for the Republican Party. It feels as though the consultants that are guiding the Democrats are basically trying to make sure that Democrats never fucking win. And if they win, God forbid they do something that will solve these issues. If they win, they have to destroy hope. If they win, they have to do the bare minimum, and in most instances, not even the bare minimum. If they win, they have to normalize the brutality that the Republicans did instead of punish the Republicans for being out of step. Punish the Republicans for violating the law. Don't do that. No matter what you do, do not punish the Republicans. It feels like it's an op. It's like a psyop that these like consultants have made sure that the Democratic Party is the controlled opposition party. It's ineffective. And now outsiders that aren't even a part of the consultancy class are getting in on it trust me, liberals are not complacent. We're ready to vote right now. Right fucking now if we could. We fucking vote so hard. Like, this kind of shit is popping off for a reason. These guys are reading the room. They're seeing how angry the average person is. The average person is fucking tired of the Democrats not doing anything. This is what if you want to know where the average person is, this is where the average person is, okay?
20 minutes from now, we are going to hear, we got another situation here. Let's just listen in for a moment.
No! Fuck you! Stop! Look out! Down! Chill. Okay. I'm fine. I didn't breathe anything. I'm just angry. I'm 7 years old. Fucking angry.
Why are these idiots trying to fight cops? They're not cops. And these guys are not idiots. Put some respect on your granddad, okay?
Oh, fuck off. I think I'll need it, but we'll try it.
Wow. What a scene in an American city in 20.
And he disappears into the gas. So I love this video because it shows where the people are, okay, with their mentality. And yet liberals invested in attacking the left are simply refusing to acknowledge why most people hate the Republicans, but also are angry at them as well for their inaction against the Republicans. Liberals on here. The government has nukes. What can the people do? Brother, what are you talking about? The government has nukes. What can the people do? You're right. They'll nuke Minneapolis. You're right. Oh my God, that's a fucking beast mode ass photo. Like how do you make sense in 2026 of the polling that shows Republicans and their disapproval rating, and then the Democratic Party, the National Democratic Party's disapproval rating being close, if not worse, than the Republican Party's disapproval rating? How do you make sense of that? Does that mean that at a time of unprecedented instability and anger and resentment and demonstrations taking place all around the fucking country, that the population is saying it's because the Democrats are not conservative enough? Or do you think they're experiencing discontent with the Democrats because the Democrats are not fighting back? This is the problem, okay? You can't get these guys to stop shitting on the Democratic Party if they're out there and by their electeds. That's it. This is what people don't understand or refuse to understand on the internet. And the reality is I shouldn't even be talking about it that much because honestly, those guys are just basically fucking in a smaller and smaller circle of people that are circle jerking about like how, you know, voting for Kamala Harris is going to be the end all be all solution, and everyone should have voted for Kamala Harris. Is too late. Is too late for that. Okay, lock the fuck in, because that doesn't address why people are still upset at the Democratic Party. Because if that was the whole point, the Democratic Party's approval would be fucking sky high right now. They'd be like, oh, the beautiful Democrats. Why did no one actually vote for the beautiful Democrats? I'm so mad at the left for not voting for the Democrats. It's an idiotic argument because Kamala Harris, even with all the third-party voters, would not have been able to secure a victory. Even if all the third-party voters voted for Kamala Harris, she still would not have won. Because people did go out and vote for Kamala Harris. They plugged their nose and they fucking voted for Kamala Harris, and she still lost. One must ask the question, why? And the liberals that say, do not ask that question. You should have just unconditionally voted. Vote blue no matter who. Otherwise, these fucking dipshits are going to come into power. Do not recognize that that kind of campaigning is unsuccessful. It's been unsuccessful. It didn't work in 2016. It only worked in 2020 because people had experienced the Trump administration and COVID was happening and there was so much instability, so much discontent that barely with a marginal victory, Joe Biden won. And then they went back to the fucking drawing board again. And it didn't work in 2024. It just did not work. Part of the reason why Biden actually won is because he was a lot more progressive in 2020 when he was running than his actual administration. Liberals in my North Florida town are showing up to protest and sounding like communists. Also, a lot more young people are also coming out. Exactly. People don't understand where the population is at. This is an unprecedented opportunity for organizing, by the way. An unprecedented opportunity. I cannot believe the things that I heard from regular fucking Minnesotans out there. And I know there were a lot of HasanAbi heads, obviously. But like, if you go out to a protest, you will hear from the Barbaras and the Debras that are out there alongside you saying shit that would make you go, oh my God, what are you, a fucking Leninist? Like, what's happening here? Are you a Marxist-Leninist by any chance? Like, where did you get this information from? People are frustrated and they recognize that the alternative has to be better. The alternative has to be better. And in the absence of a more viable, strong alternative, they are consistently showing up in polls as experiencing discontent against the Democrats as well. Why is no one asking that question? Why are the Democrats so unpopular right now? Why? Because the Republican administration is so goddamn unpopular. There's mass instability, mass discontent, mass demonstrations happening all around the country. Why the fuck are the Democrats not popular? Why is no one asking that question? Neera Tanden also doing the same bullshit. A lot of people can criticize the members here, but the last person who should do that is the person who helped Trump win when she could have supported the Dem presidential candidate. Just as a pragmatic matter, I'd ask you to look at the polling on Israel-Palestine and ask yourself if this is the hill you want to die on, is defending Biden's decision to bear hug Netanyahu and sideline pro-Palestinian voices. The lesser evil argumentation clearly doesn't fucking work. I've been a fan of you for about 4 years now, and on the left, I've been getting super into socialist and communist philosophy and theory within the last year or so, and it's so cool to look at your things from a materialist perspective, which is something I couldn't have done without you getting me on the left in the first place. On the one hand, it's good that these people are so oblivious to what's going on the streets. Okay? It's good because that means they won't mount a strong enough opposition against their left flank in the primaries. They will undermine the left flank and they'll think, oh, it's fine. Except there are obviously much more intelligent political operatives out there like AIPAC doing their very best to undermine the left flank because the left flank candidates are coming in and saying, fuck Israel, right? So I'm still frustrated. There is a big electoral battle that will take place in the upcoming months. And you know, as someone who people routinely say should not be anywhere near Democrats, I work with Democrats all the fucking time, even Democrats you wouldn't even think of, okay? I have an open door policy as long as someone wants to hear my perspective. I'll talk to anyone and everyone. I'll hope, with the hopes that they'll listen to what I have to say. But that's why it's fucking frustrating and annoying. These goddamn idiots are constantly being like, no one should be around Hasan. Hasan doesn't know what he's talking about. Hasan, don't work with the Democrats should stay away from Hasan. It's like, bitch, who the fuck are you? And then this is the other thing. Yeah, the pro-Israel people. Worth recalling that this Nazi was platformed by New York Times, Rolling Stone, Variety, Guardian, among others. The United States of Israel must have gone through some group chats or something. It really ticked people off. I'm sorry, buddy. You're Israel first, okay? If you get mad at this, statement, you have Israel's dick lodged so far up your ass, dude. Straight up. This got motherfuckers so mad, brother. And the inverse of that was also the most insane fucking article I've ever read. Minneapolis and Gaza now share the same violent language, but not in the way that you think. Thomas L. Friedman took the United States of Israel tweet that I had and basically flipped it on its head and said, ICE is Hamas. Only a couple of my lesser evil Kamala was right about everything. Friends are still buying. The Dems in the current state are an answer. All the others have their veil pulled off finally. Good. That's good. Waking up to that reality is incredibly important because only after people are awake will they actually demand the Democrats become more radical, demand the Democrats actually do something. The vote blue no matter who posture is precisely the reason why we got here. Is precisely the reason why the Democrats always lose, and that's precisely the reason why we get no fucking change in these around these parts. Okay? Because it's not working. And the people recognize that it's not working. So I'm here to shepherd them in the right direction to help them understand why they are experiencing frustration, why they're mad, why they feel like they're rudderless in this moment of hopelessness. Okay? That's it. A big reason why a lot of people are upset at me, by the way, is because I said a couple different things yesterday on my stream, and some of the high notes was from... Wait, here, we'll watch this first. This was basically where the 2020 Black Lives Matter protest started, and it wasn't just in the United States of America. Here, let's take a look at the mural. It wasn't just in the world, as a matter of fact. After Derek Chauvin and numerous law enforcement officers stood around as Derek Chauvin assassinated George Floyd in broad daylight, and there is a reason for law enforcement to exist. Mm-hmm. The problem is not that law enforcement exists in theory. The problem is that law enforcement in practice does not abide by the theory of protecting and serving the people.
Correct.
It works to protect and serve the interests of capital. That's the problem. Yeah, I don't want to just abolish ICE. I want to arrest them. Like I don't think it's enough to just abolish ICE. I think that's the moderate. That should be the moderate position. Punish ICE is the normal position. The fact that someone in the press has to wear body armor in American cities is the most dystopian shit I've ever seen. It's true, like a war zone. It's all the government's doing against the people. It's true. Why do you always relate it to socialism? I don't know. Maybe because I'm a fucking socialist. That's probably the reason. You end up agreeing with socialists quite a bit. Perhaps this is your opportunity to fucking dive off the deep end a little bit. I will always stand firm in my commitment to the notion that most people are born with a certain set of values. They learn a certain set of values. They're good. They're kind-hearted people. They want what's best for others, okay? And then they're led astray. That's why I think a lot of liberals have a little bit of that socialist dog in them. And that's part of the reason why. That's part of the reason why in so many instances they find themselves loving people like Zoran, for example. Why do liberals love Zoran, guys? Is it because he's handsome? Is it because he's charismatic? Is that the reason why? Or is it because, for once, They see someone riding with the D banner, riding under the Democratic Party banner, and they go, wait a minute, this guy is infinitely closer to my fucking worldview than anyone else that I've ever voted for. That's it. That's why it's so funny, the calculations that these guys make. Because, like, in the primaries, everyone was clowning on me for fucking leaning into Zoran, okay? Laying a stake, laying my reputation, and saying, like, this is the guy, this is the method. All those fucking same liberals who were like, Hasan should be nowhere near the Democratic Party, that now love Zoran, supposedly. They were all saying, oh, well, I don't know about this guy. This guy's maybe a little bit too pro-Hamas for my liking, right? They were for Cuomo before the primaries. What happened? What the fuck happened? Now that he is the guy, now when he became the guy and he's now the mayor, they love him. They love him. They love him so much that they have to cope and act as though, Zoran despises me secretly or something. Like they literally have to create a fantastical narrative that, now the Zoran one, he's actually good. And because he's good, he must hate Hasan. Isn't that fucking nuts? Where's the long video? I want to see the video that I did with Mint Press. Because I'll admit, low-key, Mint Press was really trying to farm me saying some anti-Democrat shit. But, I gave my honest and sound analysis as I always do, right? But is there like a Twitter post of the Mint Press interview that we did? Because this is the sentiment that Democrats are going to be different, but unfortunately, they're not showing that right now. It's always too little, too late. Famously said, a party that doesn't care about genocide doesn't care about defending democracy either. And we're kind of seeing that right now because the theoretical democratic process in America. Honestly, a lot of Democrats like to say, oh, this kind of violence, police brutality would never happen if a Democrat was elected. And that's obviously not the case, considering that police violence never really stopped under the Democratic Party. I mean, people don't remember, but Black Lives Matter initially started at Ferguson, and that was under Barack Obama. And at the time, a lot of Democrats were not very fond of Black Lives Matter as a protest movement, as a street movement. And I want to believe that sentiment, that Democrats are going to be different, but unfortunately, they're not showing that right now. It's always too little, too late. It's always, oh, maybe ICE is fine, but we don't want to fund ICE in this current version of ICE. It's never abolish ICE. Now, some Democrats do say that, but there's obviously not enough momentum in the National Party. They're not listening to the demands of the population. 2 years refusing to reckon with the crimes of genocide in Gaza, and even to this day still have the audacity to bring that up as a gotcha when they say, oh, well, you should have voted for us, even in spite of the genocide. And as Ta-Nehisi Coates famously said, a party that doesn't care about genocide doesn't care about defending democracy either. And we're kind of seeing that right now because the theoretical democratic process in America is currently being undermined in broad daylight. I mean,
sister. That's okay. That's okay. Thank you for being here.
The current democratic process that we've had a lot of issues with it already, right? Historically, one could say we never had a true proletarian democracy, and I agree with that. But right now, we are very clearly moving in the direction of fascism. We're in the waters of fascism, and yet Democrats are not presenting a strong opposition that they really have to if they want to preserve what remains of the theoretical democracy in America. They have to put a better fight. They have to put a stronger opposition up against the Republicans, and they're not doing it. So I want to believe that Democrats will be different, but they won't let me believe that Democrats are different because I can't help but notice their inaction, and it's very frustrating. Like, the takeaway from that is, I want to believe that the Democrats are an opposition party, and I want them to prove that they are, but right now they're not. Okay? They're not behaving like that. And yet people literally hear any minutia, any fucking minor criticism of the Democratic Party, and they fucking lose their minds. Like, it zaps their brains. Okay? I don't want the Democrats to operate like the controlled opposition party. I want them to fucking launch a strong opposition, okay? Be a real opposition party, not a controlled, not behave, scared, cowardly, controlled opposition party. And there are still consultants on here that refuse to recognize the discontent people are feeling. Democrats always say they want a strong Republican Party, and all you're saying is you want a strong Democratic Party for once. Yes. I think most actual Dem voters agree with you. I used to argue with my lib mom about CNN Dems, and now she shits on them more than me. That's why I'm saying, like, that's why, like, these guys are speaking to an increasingly smaller constituency. Okay? And it's not even just about what I want, it's what's required to win. But also, it's not only just about what's required to win, but it's required to preserve, like, American stability. If I was an accelerationist, I would just say, all right, fuck it, dude. You know, I love the Republicans. Let the Republicans destroy this goddamn country. You know, that will only really be apparent when we have another national campaign. Unfortunately, all politics is national now. Zoran was able to make a local race a national issue and we won huge. Yeah. If I was a person that doesn't believe in participating in bourgeois elections, okay? If I was that kind of guy, I would never fucking try to get Zoran Mamdani elected or Abdul El-Sayed elected or Kat Abu Ghazala elected. I wouldn't work with the Democrats at all, but I do. So one must ask the question, why? Because there are certain kinds of Democrats that I believe are capable of rebuilding the confidence that people must have in their government. Okay? This is not about bourgeois democracy at all. This is about fighting to make sure that there is better organizational opportunities for the left flank in general, for socialists, for Marxists. And if there is complete fucking chaos, it's virtually impossible for that organizational capacity to come back to the American labor movement. But outside of that, I work with, I know are real fighters for a reason. Okay? I work outside of the confines of the Democrats more often than I work within the confines of the Democrats. But the reason why I work with the party in general is not because I'm some fucking shepherd in the way that some people present me as. But the reason why I work with them is because it's the only fucking game in town. And there's always more that they could be doing. I understand speaking to the weakness of the Democratic Party when you're dissuading people, but when you're dissuading people from voting blue, I just don't see the value in that. What? This is why people say them should stay away, though. You talk so much shit and then expect people to vote away from the right, but it's kind of hypocritical. Brother, I'm speaking about where the people are at. You are delusional. This is the problem. I am communicating what the anger and resentment that people, not only like myself, but many others feel. That's the reason why I keep showing you old dudes fucking protesting on the streets, freaking out, yelling. That's why I ask the people that go to these protests, like, how do you feel about Tim Walz? Do you feel like you should be doing more? And everyone goes, yes. Yes, Jacob Fry, where the fuck are you? That's the reason. The reason why I'm doing this is so that you understand that this discontent, this disgust against the Republicans is very real, and we all align on that. Everybody understands it. Republicans are fucking dog shit, okay? But outside of that, you need to understand that there is real discontent towards the Dems as well. One must ask the question, why? Hasan has never dissuaded anyone from voting for Democrats, only Republicans. Yeah, I've never told people not to vote for a Democrat, okay? Unless it's like literally an establishment Democrat in a primary or something, you know what I mean? Like, and I have a candidate in the race. I have, however, told people not to vote for any Republican ever. Oh, the standard political modus operandi around the world is avoid challenging the status quo as much as possible. Trump is an exception from that, and is part of why he was so successful in building his brand. Yes. What? I also think that 100K is not a working person's salary. That's like 48 an hour. Okay. Yes, it's the real billionaires are the 100,000aires, actually. Yes, votes are earned. They're not entitled to our votes just for existing. Stand for something, please. And I don't know how like, it's not even about my commentary. If I didn't exist, Kamala Harris still would have fucking lost. That's my point. If I literally was like, Kamala Harris is my champion, is my queen, please vote for her, she still would have fucking lost. But people don't understand that. You think I have more motion than Taylor Swift? Do you think I have more motion than Beyonce? Are you fucking stupid? It doesn't work that way. You cannot outflank the fucking party. The party and the campaign needs to do a better fucking job. But there are so many people who literally behave like DNC consultants trying to do ass covering, even though they're not getting paid. Show me the fucking pay stubs. Are you getting paid by the Democratic Party? Why are you defending their incompetence? Why are you defending their ineptitude? Of course, Donald Trump is different than Kamala Harris. This is something that I presented over and over and over again throughout the election cycle, which no fucking bit. My anger was due to the Democrats' closeness to the Republicans, not recognizing the danger that Trump presented. I made that very clear, which is perhaps the only reason why there are still 45 fucking thousand people in here listening to what I have to say, because they heard me say it a million times over, and then they recognized that I was right. I'm not going to stop saying the fucking truth just because it offends certain people's sensibilities about what they think is the appropriate way to win, which is to just shut the fuck up and say, no matter how feckless Democrats come across as, it doesn't matter. They're still... you should just shut the fuck up and vote for them. No matter how much I try to tell people, like, listen, that's not how this works. You have to literally make a plea, make an earnest plea as to how you're going to fix people's problems. Otherwise, you're not going to have them fucking vote for you.
This is in mourning once again, this time for Alex Pretty, a 37-year-old intensive care nurse who worked in a medical centre for veterans. Here he is, reading final words to a patient whose son released this video yesterday.
Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it.
Now his death has fueled an American culture war in a city that has already suffered so much. Minneapolis, the city of George Floyd, of Renee Good, killed by ICE agents just weeks ago, and now of Alex too, whose body had not even been identified before the administration cast its verdict on this horrific incident, saying an armed man wanting to massacre agents was killed in self-defense. But if we slow it down and look from various angles, a completely different story emerges. You can see here, Alex is holding a...
I mean, it's not even a completely different story. It's just the truth, right? Like, it's not two competing narratives. It's just one is the truth and one is what the government is lying about.
Phone, not a gun.
No, I'm good, thank you.
He can be seen trying to help a woman who has been pushed by agents. They both get pepper sprayed. He's pulled away, forced down. Pummeled by agents in the head. Reports suggest this officer then takes the gun from Alex's holster. At the same time, another officer pulls his weapon, and then 10 shots are fired in 5 seconds, killing Alex as the men step back. Alex's parents were informed by a journalist and were passed from pillar to post, calling the police, border patrol and hospitals before finding out the horrible truth.
He thought it was terrible. Kidnapping children, just grabbing people off the street. He cared about those people. And he knew it was wrong.
He loved this country, but he hated what people were doing to it.
They slammed the sickening lie told about their son by the administration, saying he was attacked by Trump's murdering and cowardly ICE thugs, that he was trying to protect a woman, and asked, please get the truth out about our son.
People bring up the 2 magazines. I tell them it doesn't matter if he had them, and that doesn't seem to be a good enough answer. What should I say to them? What the fuck do you mean? He's a law-abiding, no criminal background having gun owner. What the fuck? Who cares if he had 2 magazines with them? What? What are we talking about, dude? It's called the Second Amendment. Like, what the fuck is this conversation? If he was trying to dome ICE agents with his 2 magazines worth of bullets, don't you think he would have fucking pulled it out? All concealed carry, all CCW carriers take 2 mags minimum. I don't know. I'm not a fucking CCW carrier, okay? But, like, the only thing he had in his hands was a phone.
He was a good man. After what happened here yesterday, it feels as if something foundational about America is crumbling here in Minneapolis, setting the federal government against the country's own states. It was the president, Donald Trump, who sent thousands of ICE and border agents here, leaving many immigrants too scared to leave their homes, and now 2 American citizens dead. The governor, Tim Walz, has now called in Minnesota's National Guard to try to keep the peace.
Who would trust Governor Walz at this point? The man has stood up and encouraged resistance. He has refused to partner with us. He's sacrificed his citizens' safety and their well-being by choosing the side of people who break the law.
Our officers are tired. Our businesses are tired. The chaos that we are seeing is caused directly by ICE, Border Control, and this federal administration.
Our message is really clear and straightforward. We need ICE out of Minnesota. They are not making us more safe.
People in Minneapolis are enraged. They are out protesting as temperatures drop to -23. The city is begging its residents to protest peacefully, and they are. But many are worried about how much more one place can take.
Like, if they don't do shit, if the Democrats in charge right now in these cities don't do shit and another person dies, I don't think they're going to be able to control the fires, okay? There's only so much ruthless punishment that people will endure until they say enough is fucking enough. Do you not feel complicit in allowing your followers to take the bait and make this the main issue despite what is happening to the Kurds, Gazans, and the Sudanese? No. Because these issues are deeply interconnected, and it's one that all those other issues are issues that I talk about with regular frequency. But thank you for being woke of the day here. I think Americans should keep dying in the streets, you're right, to be punished for the crime of being Americans. After all, America is responsible for all this other awful, horrifying acts of imperial violence that's taking place elsewhere. So I shouldn't cover that same imperial violence coming back to the home front and use that as an opportunity to hopefully wake people up to how violent these incidents look like overseas. But thank you for being woke of the day, chatter. That was very cool. It's like, bro, I don't understand why you're talking about fucking, the people not being able to have access to food and clean water supply here in the United States of America, in like Flint, Michigan or whatever, when there's like starving children in Africa, I say intellectually. Because that's your argument, right? The argument is like, how dare you talk about American nutrition, for example, or the American government's anti-vaccine initiatives, when there are people who are overseas because of the U.S. aid restrictions that the American government placed, as though these things are not fucking deeply interconnected to one another. You didn't actually make a point there. Like, there was no good point that you made. You just wanted to come across like you're more woke, even though it's a totally, totally fucking idiotic argument.
I'm joined now by Jamal Osman, who is a city councillor here in Minneapolis, vice president of the council. Jamal, you live 4 blocks from here. You represent a neighbouring ward. How did you feel when you found out about this killing?
Guys, you talk about Ixie yet? No.
Well, I was home, and of course I have that alert, and I knew I killed someone else, because we have not seen anything like this. ICE killing our residents has thrown our city in crisis. Alex and Renee should be alive today. It's unacceptable. I got here. Of course, they didn't.
I think this guy is one of those baiters. I haven't heard anything at all, and I've been checking for quite some time. Do you ever talk about the Kurds? Do you feel like you're taking the bait and not talking about the Kurds, Sudan, and Gaza at this point? You're pandering to keyboard Americans going about civil war and not talking about the worst events in the world. Is this civil war? Easier comment. Do you not feel complicit in allowing your followers to take the bait? Is it true that Hasan is worth over $150 million, or was that person saying that lying? Why is someone spreading that he's worth $150 million, lol? What's the best way to respond to people who still push the dog shit? Do you think censorship is worse or better in China? Any comments on the genocide in Sudan? Any word on the genocide in Sudan? Or is South Africa the only country in Africa that matters to you? Do you regret the comment regarding voting for Kamala is the same as a vote for Trump? Have you stopped talking about Sudan? It's easy. Like, this person has never come into the chat with like an honest Like every single time this person has come into the chat is to just try to bait off a clip. Every single time. Like this isn't a person who I think is like sincerely hyper woke or anything like that. Why do you never bring up the U.S. invasion of Grenada when they invaded a Commonwealth nation with the Queen Elizabeth head of state and against the UN vote 108-9? What do you expect individuals in Europe to do, especially those in less fortunate countries where their main focus is just keeping their head above the water? Go check on YouTube. It's clip farming for TikTok to create more discourse. I mean, I don't know. Here's you talking about the interconnected nature of these issues yesterday.
Someone's got to do it. But without you guys standing out here is nothing. You know what I mean? So this is what matters the most. But as far as what you were saying about bringing the Palestine flag out, these are connected issues. Yeah. Because as I was saying earlier, the LRADs that they use on us, on American streets, were first used and tested on Iraqi civilians in the streets of Iraq in an occupation, an illegal occupation. And these issues are absolutely connected to one another. It's the same manufacturers that are developing the weapons that first get used overseas, first get used in Gaza in an experiment that then turn on American citizens as well. So in many respects, when you're out here fighting for the humanity of Palestinians, you're also fighting for your own humanity as well. You're fighting for your own imminent disaster that will eventually come to your doorstep, as we've seen over and over again. I mean, we talked about Israel for the last 2 years. A lot of people did. I don't know what everyone's appetite is on that issue here, but I talked about it all the time. And now you're seeing a domestic occupation here in the streets of Minneapolis that is not dissimilar to what Israel had done for the last 2 years. You see the Department of Homeland Security come out and say, we're investigating ourselves. How many times have we heard the Israeli occupational forces say the exact same thing? Oh, this person's death was actually contextualized. It was justified. This person, this life that we robbed, this family that we killed.
I met you at a march, but you didn't mention the Kurds or do a land back. Are you giving up your leftist values? Yeah. Yeah. This is why I also laugh when motherfuckers are like, you need to harass this person. When he's out in public, when he's at a protest, you need to harass this person, not realizing that you would be actually an opportunist in that situation. You're claiming I am an opportunist for like CCP or something, or CCP agent. But when you come in and try to derail in the real world, well, first, you're putting yourself on the fucking, you're putting yourself in front of a lot of people who I have no control over. If they decide to whoop your ass for doing that, they might, you know what I mean? It's completely out of my hands. So good luck. But like, it doesn't make any sense as to why you would put your fans in a very weird situation like that, where the people there are united for one specific purpose. We're all talking about the same shit, and you come in to be like, oh, my favorite content creator doesn't like you, so I'm trying to get a fucking clip off here so that we can post it on LSF. Stop gatekeeping the jacket where you buy it. It's I think it's like Russian surplus military gear from like a long ass time ago. It might even be, actually, it might be Ukrainian. I don't know. I got it in England many years ago at a surplus military. Good save? No. It's not. I'm not even. It's. I don't give a shit whether it's fucking Russian or Ukrainian. I got it like a decade ago, brother. Like the fuck. You went to England last year, but no, I didn't get it in England last year. You can go back far enough on my from here. I think no, it wasn't from Americana Pipe Dream. Although those boys are funny. I'm sure someone with the appropriate level of autism can find it. It's literally in your profile picture? Is it? Oh, maybe it's a Czech. Original Czech Army Field Parka M85 Army issue winter jacket with lining. Okay, I was wrong. Yeah, this seems to be... Is it? It looks to be... Yeah, this could be it. Yeah, maybe it was a... Yeah, Czech M85 military parka, classic piece of military outerwear with a rich history. Originally designed for the Czechoslovak army in the 1980s, this parka demonstrates the durability and practicality for which the Czech army is renowned. The Czech M85 military parka features a timeless olive green color that blends well with a variety of environments. That checks out. Yeah, I love military surplus gear. I will admit, though, this is kind of dog shit quality. It wasn't that good, the quality of it. It's not that good. You have Czechoslovakian Legion jacket. Mil Serp is typically the lowest serviceable quality, lol. Yeah. I mean, I just assume that it's supposed to be like a level of durability because it's for the military. So it's at least supposed to keep you warm, right? But military grade, most expensive piece of shit on the market, signed a veteran. It's just the best bid the government got, ergo the cheapest build. You're thinking about it in American terms. But also, It is the cheapest, most cost-effective thing you can get, I think. Like, this is definitely a higher, like, this gets the job done better than a $44 jacket normally would, but there's a reason why it's $44, if that makes sense. Like, it's definitely, it's like a $60 jacket. For a winter jacket, this is gonna be, I just like it because it's cool. I work at a major outdoor retailer. If you need some promo codes, dog, use gear that works, not just cheap. Nothing can keep you warm. Even $700 worth of chemical heat packs didn't make it. Yeah. The Decathlon brand stuff is cheap and very good quality for the price. You should get a proper parka for the off chance that you have to go to the north again. Yeah, I know. You were out in Siberia, bro. Yeah. So it's more fashion than function. Dude, it's military surplus. It's literally the peak of function. I never had an issue with my upper body warmth, by the way. So the jacket did do its job. I never even felt a little cold. First day or the second day, my body was never cold at all. It was my fingertips and my toes that were fucking insanely cold. Always the extremities. And my face wasn't cold either because I had the balaclava and the ushan. So there was nothing, like, that wasn't a problem at all. But it was actually, the core stayed heated. It was actually my toes, and not my toes as much, but definitely the fingertips. That was the worst. The fingertips were unfucking bearable. Yo, you really did look like a Fed. Everyone above 6'2" is sus. What is this?
He's an old guy. It's so
No, it's okay. I swear. He's fine.
I think it took. What did you say?
No, he's fine. I swear.
No, I know. You got the pink minute on. I said, no, it's an old guy.
Damn, it's got 142,000 fucking likes. That's the most Minnesota accent I've ever heard. I didn't know he came. That's real as fuck. Poor dude wanted to enjoy it, but it was too damn cold. Every 5 seconds, he was like, so people just freeze and pretend like they aren't frozen? It hurts. He's so bundled up. Bro, I was so bundled up that this is the first day. It was even colder than the second day. And I was so goddamn bundled up that I couldn't even eat the what was it, the sambusas that they were handing out on the corner, and I really wanted that. So I'm glad that I got it, and mashallah the next day. This one too, what is
trench coat button to the top and these ballerina ass slippers. What's going on? I don't know if she was trench coat button to the top and these ballerina ass slippers. What's going on?
Nice. Damn, she popped off. He literally said he didn't know temperatures could go that low. He was struggling. This is so wild. You actually met him. As a watcher from the Midwest, all I can think is it'll only feel colder if you keep talking about it. It is kind of crazy that people could clock me, even in this fit, where, like, there are no discernible features, okay? I guess, like, it was the stream snipers. This is what a non-botted platform looks like. Yeah, true. Brother, no one dresses like you. This is a normal outfit, I think. I think this was a very normal outfit. Who amongst us doesn't have a Chinese Ushanka with a Soviet parka over it, who's 6'4"? The boots are Rick Owens. Pants are engineering garments. Boots are Rick Owens. I was dripped the fuck out. Look around you in that picture and say that again. Yeah. My brother in Christ, you're wearing bowling boots? No, I wasn't. The fuck is a bowling boot? Literally no one asked. I just checked. I know bro want to walk the wrong way so bad. Literally no one asked. I just checked twice. Fuck you. No, people were asking. Hella people were asking. Fuck you, nice bathroom. You just didn't see him because you banned all of them. See, me and my girl were watching your stream yesterday and talked about your outfits for a while. Lol, no one dresses like you do. Nah, being a creator permanently bricked your brain in terms of fashion. You're never going to be able to judge what normal clothes are, Lamau. You're not Jason or Kai. That's crazy. Okay. They have style. Well, I don't think Jason has a stylist, but Kai has a stylist. I don't. And you can probably tell. Also, what stylist is going to be like, let's put you in a fucking revolutionary chic fit? This is why Omar thought I had hella fucking haters, bro. Because of you guys. This is why. Unc, you got Jason style? If he was one of Ho Chi Minh's followers? Were these the not a cop and fuck ice vest? Yeah, I saw this. Not a cop. Fuck ice. That person also has some like LGBT stickers in the front too. Get your ass to New York City and help the man out. Sooner than you think. I got something in the works with my mans. Okay, sooner than you think. We're working on it. We're working on something. Okay, calm down. I got some travel planned for New York coming up in the month of February, in the beginning of the month of February. So we'll see. Shout out to Eric. Shout out to Eric who got you the bulletproof vest. Yes, he did. Hood Genius is getting canceled, man. Wait, why? My Somaliapolis brethren. You streaming with Sneeko and Clavicular in New York? No, I think I'm good on that. I think I will not be doing that. Homophobic tweets? Okay, but what are your plans for Black History Month? More shocking of petite black men? That's crazy that you called Arky a petite black man. You called Arky petite. The real fear of Zohran Mamdani's critics is not that he fails, but that he succeeds. Americans might ask, wait, the government can be competent? Why isn't our city competent? Exactly. Dude, this is what I fucking mean. This is the method, okay? Then people start developing trust in their government. And not only do they start developing trust in their government, they start going, wait a minute. This socialism thing ain't too bad. That just means it's like a competent administrator, okay? New York Zohran drama dropped. Breaking news, Mayor Zohran Mamdani has just signed legislation that will force all New Yorkers to watch the HasanAbi broadcast every single day. What are your thoughts on this? It's real. That's real. He is doing that. Bro, people went from no King's protest to being like, fuck ICE. We have to start physically apprehending ICE agents. Like, okay, you can't. Like, it's just so crazy to me that a lot of people are still just so far behind on where the people are at. I remember when we first started talking about sewer socialism and people went wild mocking it. When I saw that Zohran was talking about it, I knew he was the one. Yeah. You're going to be given a brownstone like your North Korean state media in New York. I love that. That's what I want. That's what I want. What is this real subtle, bro? Okay, dude. I did not have a Fed jacket on. Was the shooting in the man in Minneapolis on Saturday justified? 20% say justified, 48% say not justified, 32% say not sure. The net justified for the GOP is plus 31. For Dems is minus 79. For Indies is minus 37. 52% report seeing videos on the Saturday Minneapolis Border Patrol shooting. First of all, these numbers are abysmal in general, okay? But the fact that the 20% is all MAGA is unsurprising. It goes back to the same thing I was saying. We have to reckon with the reality that there is 20% of the public in this fucking country, in this beautiful country we call home, that are just fucking insane, okay? They are psychotic dick riders of MAGA. They will dick ride MAGA into oblivion. They will dick ride Donald Trump into oblivion. If Donald Trump says, hey, this guy deserved to be shot, they will say he died. Now, having said that, that number used to be at 30%. So it's good that it's actually down to 20%. If we can get down to 20%, maybe it'll get down to 10%. Who knows? Sky's the fucking limit. All right? What is this? Ratio so close. Please help OG HasanAbi girly, please. It's so easy to not come in fifth place, bootlicking bitch. Oh my God. 70K likes is so easy to not get shot by ICE. Okay, yeah. For busted open 420, we busted wide open. This is why persons like Asman, etc. are pivoting with a real pivot. Whoa, what the fuck? The real pivot isn't as extreme as you think. No, the liberals are pivoting to a more extreme position. Kaya, hey, no, don't do that. It's going to fall on you. Get out of there. Go. Place. She's going to accidentally have fucking shit fall on her. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're a crazy girl. I know you miss daddy. Come here. Okay. Come. Hi. Hello. No, don't. Oh my God. This doesn't mean lay right underneath me, girl. No. Oh my God. She's like, no, I have to lay right behind you. This is crazy. Look at this. Look. Bro, there is something wrong. There's something wrong with you. You know that, right? There's something wrong with your brain. What the fuck is wrong with you? Remove those wheels immediately. I have to move around. Hello. What are you smelling over there? There's nothing over there. Don't be mean to her. She has things to say. I know. She wants a donut treat? No, it's done. There's no more donut treats. Hello. What do you have to say, Kaya? Kaya's saying fuck ICE. That's what she's here to say. Kaya's the quietest dog. Not when there's someone at the door. She ain't. Let me tell you. She fucking not quiet at all.
Let our police and our state investigators look at the evidence, and FBI and ICE.
Are they doing that now?
That's what they have done. They have not released any of the information they collected. That's all we have. They have not given us access at all.
And how are people feeling in the city? A lot of your constituents are immigrants. What are you hearing from them?
It's not immigrants anymore. It's everyone. ICE are killing people on the street.
Get out of there.
People are angry. People are frustrated. People are scared.
Oh my God.
this is not what America looks like. This is not what Minnesota looks like.
And when you go around and see people, are they scared of coming out?
They are scared of coming out. Actually, the shops of immigrants on Lake Street and Franklin, which is mainly Latino and East African, have been closed for weeks now. People are scared. They are stopping U.S. Citizens. One of my friends was stopped 4 times, pulled over 4 times. He's an Uber driver, 4 times. So, of course, they are picking and stopping anyone.
This is why people are not going outside, by the way. I need you to understand. These aren't even immigrants. They're like American citizens. They're just not going outside because they don't have any, like, there's no guarantee that ICE just won't nab you. It's craziness.
Say they're targeting people with criminal convictions. What do you say to that?
Same thing they're saying. The video we have seen, they put out nothing but a nonsense. They are telling us what we're seeing is not real. It's unreal. So the federal government and Trump administration lost their mind by trying to confuse the public and put out a message. Alex was murdered yesterday on the street. He was helping a woman. He was a nurse. He was someone who was loved in the community. Same as Renee. And still, they are out there. And instead of investigating.
What do you say to the federal officers and to the federal message that the state is blocking them from doing their job, and that's why this is happening?
It's not happening. We want them to leave our city. They're not, these people, the ICE folks, are not trained. They're not professional people.
Wait, when people say like, oh, what's the solution? Like, do people have to present their papers everywhere they go? Like, brother, you do realize that like most people, they don't even have like a driver's license, right? Or even if they do have a driver's license, that's not a true ID. It's not a real ID. Like, what are you supposed to do? Get a fucking passport? Go to the passport office, get a passport, get a real ID? Like, it's fucking insane. Like, there is no, and on top of that, it's still not a guarantee. Even if you have all that paperwork, if ICE want to fuck with you, they can still fuck with you.
Trainers. They are individuals who are treating our community bad and pull on guns and shooting people on the street. We do not want ICE here.
How much worse do you think this could get?
It could get worse. It could get worse. And as he threatened us already that he's going to send the military, we don't know what that looks like. We're already dealing with 3,000 ICE agencies that are basically harassing everyone.
Have you been stopped?
I have not been stopped, but my friends, my residents have been stopped. People are getting detained and actually being sent to Mexico, especially the refugee community that arrived here that don't have the green card, but they actually came here, but not by their choice. They were picked up and they were brought here.
Just tell me quickly, what do you think is motivating Donald Trump?
I think what Donald Trump knows he can get away from this because he has loyalty folks around him. He knows that he can get away from it. So what motivates him? This is a blue state. This is a loving state.
So this is politics.
Politics, of course.
Jamal, thank you so much for your time.
CNN's Tom Foreman is here to walk us through what we're hearing from federal officials.
Okay, we've covered this endlessly. Here's some interesting developments, though. One of the interesting developments was that the National Guard is now mobilized on the fucking streets, and they're supposed to be, like, doing checks, right? They said that they were. I find that to be interesting because they weren't really doing any checks at all last night. They were just there as a presence. Maybe they're going to do checks on ICE. Who knows? But this is an interesting development. The Minnesota National Guard members have arrived at the site of the federal building and have been ordered to distribute donuts, coffee, and hot chocolate to the anti-ICE protesters. They were given reflective vests so protesters don't confuse. One of the major issues with this is that this is a testament to how militarized the American law enforcement is, from the local level all the way down, all the way up to the federal agencies, right? They're so heavily fucking militarized that the National Guard, which is a branch of the fucking military, has to actually distinguish themselves somehow by putting on reflective fucking vests. I understand why people don't want to trust it. And maybe this is just for PR, but so far so good. You see what I'm saying?
It's almost Valentine's Day.
It's counterinsurgency. It's hearts and minds. They're doing counterinsurgency tactics law. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell.
We'll get a shot of it.
But thank you all.
Cup of coffee, sir? Chris, do you want on the end? Please hot chocolate?
You don't want to know? No, I just don't want to be cynical is all. That's it. I don't want to be cynical immediately. I don't want to insta-lock cynicism. I mean, I know what they've done before. I know what they've done in the past. But I think this is a good thing. I don't think this is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. As long as they don't just do like the aesthetic stuff, okay? As long as it's not just about, as long as it doesn't just stay at like, oh, we're going to give you donuts and then we're going to shoot you in the fucking face when you protest. It's coin toss until they arrest ICE or prevent them from terrorizing people, obviously. Yeah. But I think here, this plays along with what I was talking about, right? If their presence there is to side and stand with the protesters, if their presence there is to side and stand with the protesters, then that shows ICE something important. That they're not there for ICE, that they're there for the people. So if they're presenting themselves as being on the side of the people, that means that they got directives from the governor to be on the side of the people, which will make ICE second guess when they are behaving in this irrational and violent manner, when they're trying to do this like siege. Do you see what I mean? That's why I don't think this is a bad thing. I think this is a good thing. Now, will history prove me wrong? Perhaps. There's always an opportunity for these guys to just like fuck it all up. Okay, fuck up all the goodwill. Fuck it all up in its entirety and turn around and do some fuck shit, you know, side with ICE at the end of the day. You're saying local government, not federal, right? I mean, this is the state. These guys are here because the state told them to be there. I'm Minneapolis, Minnesota born and raised. My sister's a leftist, went to liberal arts school. She was in the National Guard. They're just normal people and our neighbors. She was National Guard during George Floyd and kept thinking I'm on the wrong side of history. They're all thinking this too. Milk toast ass take. Why haven't you centralized your praxis? You do nothing to build community. The larger community should divest from you and build where they are instead. Wait, what? Neutral chaotic, 23-month subscriber. Centralized your praxis? You do nothing to build community. The larger community should divest from you and build where they are instead. I mean, I agree. You're not wrong, chatter. I don't know why you're saying this like we're at odds. I mean, how do you divest from me? Like you're previously subscribed for 23 months. Is that like, is the divestment just like not subscribing? Is that what it is? Because like, what is the investment you have in me? Like you want to do a BDS or something like on, you know, we need to boycott HasanAbi Piker now. Like, explain to me what you mean by this. You said Keg W? Oh, okay. You were fucking around. He's probably asking for you to teach your community to do more. I mean, I lead by example in this situation. I show you what you should be doing all the fucking time. I lean into people that are doing the things that I think you should be doing all the fucking time. And yes, I always remind people that I'm only one person. I also always remind people that the Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers, and to support the show. You don't have to. But I think yesterday proved once again what I'm always talking about. Why do you bully Ethan Klein? Yeah, I bully Ethan Klein by existing. I bully Ethan Klein because I haven't like killed myself or something. I think that's what it is. My existence is like a permanent bullying to Ethan Klein. But yeah, something that I routinely repeat is that I'm only one person, and if it wasn't for this community actually going out and listening to what I have to say, and then going out and actually being the person in their own organizations, in their own local communities, if it wasn't for you guys, what I'm doing would be utterly irrelevant. And we see that. We saw that yesterday. We saw that the day prior. You earned 3 months of anarchist support for yesterday? Hell yeah. Look, see, even the anarchists are on board. Yeah, if they're putting this much weight on watching you, that's on them. Exactly. I've never made it seem like watching me is fucking praxis or some shit. You know what I mean? Oh, the more socialist you get, the more you watch me, the more socialist you become. You're increasing socialism in America. Like, I'm just here to give you the tools so you can build something on your own. I was too scared to go to a protest by myself, but you give me the courage to go. Well, that's the thing. That's the beauty, right? When you go there, you're not alone at all. When you go there, you're not alone at all. You're surrounded by other people. You're surrounded by your comrades. That's what solidarity is about. I mean, think about it this way. The first day we went out, I had security with me. Second day we went out, I didn't have any security with me at all, right? I didn't see the need. And I didn't, I just went out on my own. And there was never a moment where I felt, under threat, under fire, worried, because I was surrounded by friends. I was surrounded by comrades. I was surrounded by like-minded individuals. That's it. What happened to Marchie Poo yesterday? He escaped the cold because he couldn't handle it, so he ran. Anyway, we showed this. None of the ICE agents who were near the victim were performing CPR, says the doctor who showed to help Preddy. The ICE agents appear to be counting his bullet wounds. Border Patrol's Greg Bovino, says the federal agents involved in the scene where Alex Preddy was killed have been reassigned outside of Minneapolis but are still on the job. All agents that were involved in that scene are working not in Minneapolis but in other locations. That's for their safety. Great. What about the safety of the fucking people? Like, you just took these killers and you reassigned them. Bro, you know what this is? This is like the pedophile priest route. I mean, it's the same shit with cops, right? They just like switch precincts. They kill like an unarmed black teenager and then they switch precincts and they go do it again. I can't believe it. It's just always the same shit.